The 80-year-old aunt drank a mysterious potion in order to change her appearance. I didn't expect that in just 2.5 seconds her dry hands became smooth and tight. The chest also expanded quickly, returned to the peak of the girl. Even the buttocks immediately rose and became full of roundness. Looking at herself in the mirror, returning to her 18-year-old self. The aunt can't wait to show her husband, but who knows, the other party has no interest in her. The woman hit her head instantly, directly aimed at the husband. Start crazy output. The plot completely provoked. The man's story pushed her down the stairs. It's too late when the husband returns to the god. The wife has already fallen to the ground and lost her breath. However, she had just been ready to inform the police. The dead wife suddenly stood up. She was going to tell her husband that she was fine, but she didn't know that her head was twisted to her back. The man almost peed on the spot. Hurry up and begged the wife to let her. Goth woman realized something was wrong at this time. Looking at herself in the mirror, she decisively held her head in her hand. The buttocks returned to her position. Seeing this scene, the husband was cold-blooded for a moment. Then, while the wife was putting on makeup, she decisively chose to run. As a result, she ran downstairs and ran into the wife's best friend in order to avoid the wife's discovery of the relationship between the two. The man was bold enough to persuade the best friend to leave, but she didn't know that the wife had already taken everything into her eyes. In order to give the two of them a little lesson, she decisively took out the spray. It's a way to get your best friend's buttocks. Defeat your husband's best friend. The woman threw a gun and shot her to 100 meters away, and the husband could only listen to what he said, but the best friend didn't die. He stood up in front of the big hole. This strange scene almost scared the two of them to death. Seeing the best friend is getting closer and closer at the critical moment, the best friend suddenly noticed something was wrong. The other party's shoulder had the same badge as his. I didn't expect to be an eternal lover who had drunk water. The best friend was no longer afraid of the situation. He picked up the iron bar and started to go crazy with his best friend, but the two of them are eternal. No one can stand up to the other at this time. The best friend suggested it means that he can make the best friend grow up. It turns out that the two of them have immortal bodies, but every once in a while, they need to be repaired, and this can only be done by the master of martial arts, Brother Chong. The two of them went to Brother Chong to repair their bodies. After the agreement was reached, Brother Chong desperately promised to help them, but when the two of them finished the repair, when I looked at the mirror and admired the media, but I suddenly found a piece of skin on my shoulder. May was in a bad mood. He knew they couldn't get rid of Brother Chong, so he secretly put the medicine in his wine. I was going to put Brother Chong down and feed him eternal water, but I didn't expect Brother Chong to leave. At this moment, I poured the wine into the basin with my own hands in a hurry. May raised the flower pot. It hit the husband's back of the head and hit him hard. Wait for Brother Chong to wake up from the coma, but found a mysterious woman standing in front of him. He opened a gorgeous iron box. There was a bottle of mysterious pink medicine in it. I didn't wait for Brother Chong to figure out what was going on. He was immediately shocked by the look in front of meth, which took advantage of the man's inattention to pierce his finger, then take a drop of mysterious medicine with a brush, then rub it on the man's hand. A magical scene immediately occurred. I only saw the wound fly fast. Self-repair. Even the originally dry palm, it also instantly became young and lively. Realized that the medicine can really bring life. Brother Chong was ready to drink at the moment, but suddenly he remembered the beauty of his wife and best friend, so he stopped talking again. It's better to die directly. The witch's sword hit him instantly. Order the men to control Brother Chong immediately, but I didn't expect Brother Chong to do it first. Cut off the power, then the light speed took the door and escaped, but when I went out, I ran into two laughing dogs. He had nowhere to go, but he could only escape to the rooftop, but just as he was climbing along the roof, the wife suddenly arrived with her best friend, scared Brother Chong to the bottom of a slide straight down. Fortunately, I only got a little life back after wearing a backpack today. The beauty of the sword quickly threw out the silk bag to pull Brother Chong back, but it was pulled away by a gust of wind. It seems that the lover is going to fall down. The beauty is very busy to persuade her husband to drink the medicine, but Brother Chong said he didn't want to be a living dead, so he threw the medicine away. At this time, the belt suddenly broke. Brother Chong fell down with the super speed, but don't forget that the bottom is the pool of the witch. He was also lucky enough to save the life of the dog. Then Brother Chong didn't dare to stop for a moment. Drive directly to the road. Time went by. For decades, May came to participate in Brother Chong's funeral. The other party was only 90 years old, but he got a full-time grandson. A short life full of wonderful, and the dog and the born-to-be May. The two people have long been forgotten by the world. The body should also lack repair. Became ugly. Never dare to look at the world with the real face, and at this time the two people have looked down on each other just like a best friend, unwilling to step on the bottle to lose balance. May saw death, not to want to give him a game, but the result was caught by a best friend and brought down. The two fell into a hero's shard. Like this ended with a full cup. The mother merely kissed her son and instantly reappeared at her great-grandmother's grave. A bewildered boy reached out tentatively, but to his surprise, a simple touch with his finger brought his mother back to life. He wondered if he possessed the power to revive the dead. The next day, however, his mother accidentally touched him again and was resurrected once more. The boy decided to use his powers again, but this time his mother never woke up. He then realized that if a resurrected person touched him again, they would die forever. The boy, unwilling to witness death again, rarely used his power. Until one day, his beloved dog was hit by a car. He touched his dog with his finger. A golden retriever has been accused of killing its owner. This was highly illogical. The dog had always been docile and obedient, yet it was accused of murder and was to be executed in 2 weeks. The victim's family refused to believe that the dog was the killer, so they hired the detective, who took the boy to the morgue. Hello. Hi. Sorry to disturb you, Mr. Gassman. Leonard, did you prefer? After the victim found out the truth, he let her die again, so that she could solve the case quickly. She was full of energy, but she didn't know that the victim was her childhood crush. She was a little sad, and she hoped that the detective would give her and Fa Xiao some time to be alone. When she touched Fa Xiao immediately came back to life. Because the detective only allowed her to come back to life for 1 minute, so she didn't have time to go on. Instead, she dared to ask Fa Xiao who killed her, but Fa Xiao knew nothing about it. She only knew that the key to her room fell into the ice machine that night. When she picked up the key, she was suddenly tied to the ice with a plastic bag. It can be said that she died completely unknowingly. Since she couldn't find out anything, Jack began to remember his past with Fa Xiao without hesitation. She still remembers that her first kiss was the other party. When she heard this, Fa Xiao said that since this is the last kiss in her life, she should give it to her, but no matter what, Jack couldn't go down, because once she touched the other party, she would die again. The girl thought she didn't want to kiss herself, but Jack did. She wanted to break the rules and not let Fa Xiao die again in order to make people blind. Jack let her lie down in the coffin. It is said that she will find a chance to release her again soon. Then Jack walked out again, but full of sweat and blushing. The detective soon found out something was wrong, but the detective didn't think too much and left directly. Just when Jack wanted to release Fa Xiao again, he found that Fa Xiao was gone. The funeral team was ready to bury him in the grave. When they saw the scene in front of them, Jack was stunned. This time, Fa Xiao in the coffin was still thinking about planning his second life. He didn't know that he was about to be buried, but when the workers dug a hole for him, Jack took the opportunity to light their car. The workers ran to save him in a panic. Jack successfully saved Fa Xiao. In this way, the two successfully returned to Jack's home. In the chat, they learned that Fa Xiao had always been in love with Jack, but the bad thing is that Jack couldn't touch him. Jack had no choice but to sleep on the sofa at night. The most difficult thing is that love cannot be embraced. Soon the next day, Jack lay down with the detective. He didn't let Fa Xiao die again. The detective also broke up with him once and didn't blame him. It's just that now we need to avoid some familiar people at all times, so as not to be caught to study. In this way, Fa Xiao became their tool. For example, when the two wanted to hug each other, Fa Xiao hugged Annie instead of Jack. When they wanted to hold hands, the two held their right hand with their left hand. It's as if the other party is pulling themselves.